Finally from us, Sonia Guggisberg is a multimedia artist whose work explores urban and environmental themes. Her latest project, called Crossing Images, is a multi-channel video installation. I spoke to Guggisberg about her effort to preserve history through her work. Sonia, thank you for joining us in studio today.
Thanks for inviting me to have this interview.
All right. So let's just start a little bit with your work itself. Your work very much focuses on urban environments and so forth. Why did you decide to go in that direction?
Some years ago, I decided to study about the water and the water inside the subsoil. So I started working with the hidden big oceans that we have under the subsoil, under the big countries like Brazil. We have some of them. But I lived in that urban space. So after doing this research about the water, I decided to change my research to inside the city, to the urban space. And my first work there was about the underground that we have in São Paulo. Mm-hmm. I did a documentary about this because we have a very big hidden history under our biggest avenue. It's Avenida Paulista, mm-hmm. and like the Fifth Avenue for you, yeah. It's the bigger symbol of the city, and it's a big city. And so I started with this documentary and this research. And after that, I started thinking about the redrawings movements that we have in the city. Because São Paulo is a city that if you stop going to some part of the city and you go after some years, you will see that everything changed.
Now when you say the redrawing movement, what do you mean by that for the audience?
Yeah, because it's common. Now they are preserving some parts, but it was common to destroy the old buildings. And when you destroy the old buildings, you destroy part of the history and a part of the identity of the people who live there.
Mm-hmm. So are there no laws that, like here in the United States, there are laws that help preserve historical landmarks and so forth. So there are no laws that exist like that in Brazil? Is that the case?
Yes, we have the laws and they are very hard. But you know how is the capitalism. When the people want to put something down, they will do at night, on the weekend, I don't know. They will find a way to do the thing. Mm-hmm. So our Avenida Paulista, we had a very big old houses there, and we don't have, I think we have only 2 now. Mm-hmm. But it's the 3 kilometers of big houses that we had. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And now they are only buildings, big buildings.
Mm-hmm. Now is your work considered to be anti-establishment, or is your work considered to be, in a way, kind of railing against this sort of redrawing movement that seems to be happening?
It's a kind of political artwork, because I always think about the things in relation with the people, in relation with the movement of the city, and in relation with the society that lives there. Mm-hmm. So it's a kind of political, because I'm thinking about the movement, and I think we need to think about we have to live in a faster movement more and more and more. So it's difficult to explain you, but I think the technological, when we had the technological concept in our lives, in our way of living, we had to do everything fast as a machine, as on a computer. So if some years ago we could wait for the letter and send the letter, now in kind of minutes you have 100 emails to answer. So you have to think about 100 different things, and you have to improve different things. So it's I think we lose a part of our human way of living, and we had to be faster.
Right, because that's what your current exhibit that's going on here in the city is all about, this whole idea of living faster, right?
Yeah. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about it. It's called it's called Crossing Images, right?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I have already I did my PhD. I finished my PhD last year. and was about the idea of subsoil, and then the subsoil like an underground, but not underground, the subsoil and the underground, the both ideas, and I started thinking about the hidden histories and the movements that make the society changing inside the societies. So about the fast movements, the crossing images, it's to relate the movement that the city, that non-stop city that we live in, a non-stop city, 24 hours. If you have to work all the time, okay, and you have to think in different ways all the time. It's not only one direction; you have many directions.
Right.
So it's a kind of the crossed images is something like that. I started capturing images inside trains, and when I put my camera outside and the train comes inside the tunnel, it changes at the same moment to inside.
Right.
It's a movement that the camera do.
Right.
So I started thinking about this because I have the reflex. And I have the image outside and inside with the people inside and the people outside. And I think it's a movement that we have all day.
Right.
That we have to think and change, think and do all the time.
Right.
It's an inside-outside movements.
Right, like you're constantly changing your perspective. You constantly.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of that you don't think about this anymore. So it's so fast.
Right.
I don't know. I like the idea, but I think we are living as a machine sometimes.
Well, Sonia, thank you very, very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
All
Thank
right.
you.
The exhibit will run at MediaNoche Gallery. That, full disclosure, is curated by one of our producers, Judith Escalona. That's our show this week. Thanks for staying tuned. Till next time, be independent-minded.